Wants to start fast, let his hands go, impose his will, but he got to put his chin down. He got to be defensive minded. And Tank, great game plan.
What you doing?
Yeah, actually, no, that was a beautiful knockout. I ain't gonna lie, that was a beautiful knockout. That was beautiful.
How do you set it up in your eyes? How'd you see him?
But
What do you think about Gervonta?
I think Gervonta did good. I think he waited a little bit. I think I feel like he gets them tired first until he explodes on them.
You gotta be there with him. If you're not mentally strong, that's what's gonna happen. He's gonna break you down.
Anything else that Ryan could have done differently throughout the fight?
I just feel like he just fought the wrong fight. He was following him around in round one.
The fight went exactly as I would say 100% of us expected it to go. I don't think there was very many people that
First, you know what I'm saying, he held his defense up pretty high, so he was able to maintain for a long time. But I think that whenever Tank was ready to close the gaps, he closed.
He tried to fight, but it was unsuccessful. But it is what it is. He showed what happened to him. He got knocked out.
Tank is the best fighter in the world. Tank's the best fighter in the world. And his team's been saying it.
The smile. And still undefeated, Gervonta Tank Davis.
What'd you think, man?
No. No? I think it was a great fight. I think it was a great fight. It was amazing.
His performance. What do you think about Gervonta?
I think Gervonta did good. I think he waited a little bit. I think I feel like he gets them tired first until he explodes on them all crazy.
Well, what next match would you like to see for him? Maybe a Shakur fight, possibly a David?
Tank's always shown that he's very well equipped with skills and he's strong. So I'm assuming that punch really was a factor.
It's close, but that's what he was all about. You feel me? Rolly got a little comfortable.
it was an ugly fight. It could have been either way, but Tank got him out of
Monster, the modern day Mike Tyson.
What do you think is next for Tank Davis after this? What would you like to see?
I mean, let's put him in big fights. He's ready for everybody.
Not too much.
What did you think about Tank's power tonight? Did you think he was winning the fight up until the stoppage?
I mean, it was close, but like I say, man, he got a lot of experience, so he's really just setting it up.
You got to go back up here.
Setting it up, taking his time. Just setting it up.
You know, he made a mistake and got a little froggy. He showed the world that he could outbox the champion, and he outboxed him. But thank you, appreciate that. But you know, Tank is a champion for a reason. I told him he has timing and he has experience.
The fight everyone was waiting for is finally over, and as expected, Tank Davis added another win to his record. He took down Lamont Roach just like he's done to so many before. Once again, an opponent talked a big game, claiming he had what it took to knock out Tank, but reality hit hard, just not as hard as Tank's punches. Roach stepped into the ring confident, convinced he had the perfect strategy to expose Tank's weaknesses. But, like the 30 before him, he quickly learned that there are levels to this sport.
I'm gonna do me regardless. I told him to leave his mom's and, you know, the people home, and he still brought them. It's crazy, man. It's gonna get bad. It's gonna get bad.
As soon as Tank figured Roach out, it was game over. A few heavy shots later, and Roach had no answers. The fight ended just as most expected, Tank victorious, untouched, and still undefeated. But surprisingly, the post-fight buzz wasn't about Tank's performance. No one seemed particularly impressed, especially the big names watching from ringside. In attendance were Terrence, Bud, Crawford, Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson, and the man shaping some of boxing's biggest fights lately, Turkey Alashik.
We're gonna make sure tell Terrence Crawford keep his name out your mouth. You know what I mean? He talking crazy. He talking crazy. He talking. You think about that one?
Nah, it was just some, talking on some Twitter like back and forth.
Their reactions said it all. They weren't impressed. Terrence Crawford, never one to hold back, summed it up in a few words: just another win to look good. For months, Crawford has been vocal about his criticism of Tank's opponents. He believes Tank has been playing it safe, choosing fights that keep his record flawless without truly pushing himself. In Crawford's eyes, Tank has been dodging the toughest challenges, prioritizing his image over building a lasting legacy.
For you, Tank, at 147, how does a fight with you and Terrence Crawford look?
147?
147.
Shit, I tap that train, you know he going to sleep.
I already know. I already know he is.
He's just arrogant, Crawford said when asked about Tank's latest win. He wants attention and all, but he should be giving fans real fights, not just trying to look good for the crowd. Crawford hasn't held back his thoughts. He firmly believes there's only one fighter who can truly beat Tank, Shakur Stevenson. He's called Shakur Tank's kryptonite, the one with the skill, defense, and ring IQ to neutralize Tank's power and outbox him completely. And tonight, it looked like Turkey Alashik might agree. Right in the middle of the post-fight discussions, he made an announcement that sent shockwaves through the boxing world. Tank has officially agreed to 2 fights this year. These aren't just any fights. They're the ones fans have been waiting for. Turkey didn't mention names, but it didn't take long for everyone to connect the dots. For months, he's been in talks with Tank, pushing him to take on the toughest challenges in the division. The most talked about matchup? Tank versus Devin Haney. Turkey has been working non-stop to make the biggest fights happen, and this announcement made one thing clear. Tank's next 2 opponents won't be tune-ups. They'll be the real deal. And the most obvious names on the list? Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson.
Devin, thoughts on the fight? Thoughts on the fight, Devin?
These aren't just any fights. They're the ones fans have been waiting for. Turkey didn't mention names, but it didn't take long for everyone to connect the dots. For months, he's been in talks with Tank, pushing him to take on the toughest challenges in the division. The most talked about matchup? Tank versus Devin Haney. Turkey has been working non-stop to make the biggest fights happen, and this announcement made one thing clear. Tank's next 2 opponents won't be tune-ups. They'll be the real deal. And the most obvious names on the list? Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson. Just when the night seemed like it couldn't get any bigger, Oscar de la Hoya dropped another bomb. Tank versus Ryan Garcia 2 is happening. No official date yet, but it's locked in. Ryan has been pushing for a rematch ever since their first fight, insisting he wasn't at his best. He blamed the weight cut for draining him and vowed not to make the same mistakes again. Since then, he's been in the headlines for all the wrong reasons: social media meltdowns, legal trouble, and heavy criticism from the boxing world. But for Ryan, this rematch is more than just another fight. It's his shot at redemption.
In all of boxing in regards to where you're at in your weight class and how you consistently are just knocking guys out. What's that feeling like when you do?
I feel like...
Oscar de la Hoya didn't waste any time building the hype, saying Ryan is coming back stronger and will be a problem for Tank, or even Devin Haney. He's been vocal about Ryan's talent, insisting that his speed and power make him a real threat in the division. And with all the chaos surrounding Ryan lately, this rematch could be his chance to prove he's still a top contender. But the bigger story isn't just these individual fights. It's what this means for Tank's future. Just a few months ago, rumors swirled that Tank wasn't interested in working with Turkey. He wanted to stay in control of his career, remain independent, and avoid any long-term deals.
I drank. No, I did not. He was eating the day before. We had a media workout. He was eating at his media workout, bro. I wasn't even eating at my media workout. You get what I'm saying? It just, he tricked the people like, yeah, I'm draining. No, you wasn't. I just made him have to work.
But now, Tank is all in, and that changes everything. Turkey isn't just another promoter or businessman in boxing. He's the one making the biggest fights happen, putting up the money, sealing the deals, and ensuring the best fight the best. With Tank now working directly with Turkey, the biggest matchups in the division are no longer just talk. They're inevitable. Haney, Shakur, Ryan, these fights aren't just possibilities anymore. They're happening.
I didn't know how good I was and how I would have handled the situation, so they just threw me out there. He was hurt. I mean, not even hurt. He was just...
Crawford knew it. That's why he was there, watching everything unfold. He's been calling for these fights for months, demanding that Tank prove himself against the best. And now, with Turkey making the moves, there's no room for excuses. Tank made a statement tonight, reminding everyone he's still the king of the division. He's still got the power, and he's still the one everyone is chasing. But now, the real test begins. No matter how many knockouts or wins he adds, the only thing that matters now is if he can beat the best. With Haney, Shakur, and Ryan all lined up, we're about to find out if Tank is truly as untouchable as he claims to be.
It was a professional versus an amateur.
With Tank's fights, you always know what's coming. You just don't know when. A knockout is only a matter of time. And at the weigh-in, Tank knew it too. Same old, he told the crowd. I've got to give them what they want to see. He didn't need to say much. His fists always did the talking. For Roach, the real question was whether he could last long enough to make things interesting. Could he avoid the shot that puts the lights out? Could he pull off the impossible and shock the world? It was always a long shot, but he believed, and so did the people around him.
Boxer. For everybody to be talking shit to Gervonta, it don't be coming out good for them, my nigga. I'm just keeping it real.
He obviously a superstar. But just because it's who he is, this don't change no program that I got going on. I'm here to win. I've been coming to win. And I think the same result will happen on December the 14th.
At the weigh-in, Roach came in right at 135 pounds, while Tank looked a bit drained at 133.8. It got people talking. Maybe Roach had an edge. Maybe the weight cut took more out of Tank than usual. Roach was feeling confident. I told him this __ is real, he said after facing off with Tank. I'm one of the best fighters in the world, and I can't wait for you all to see it. Promoter Tom Brown leaned into that narrative, hyping up the matchup as champion versus champion, Baltimore versus DC. Who was the bigger man that night? He was selling the fight, making it seem closer than it really was. Roach's team was confident too. His co-promoter, Gary Jonas, kept saying it. Roach wasn't scared. He had known Tank since they were kids and even fought him twice in the amateurs. The advantage Lamont has is their history, Jonas said. Psychologically, that's a big edge over guys who get intimidated by Tank. But here's the thing. Knowing Tank doesn't mean you can stop him. Despite all the talk and confidence, Roach was the underdog for a reason. He was moving up in weight to face a fighter who had knocked out 28 of his 30 opponents. This wasn't just about skill, it was about power, and Tank had plenty of it. Roach was solid, technically sound, but to win, he had to be perfect, flawless, for 12 straight rounds.
Consider you and Gervonta friends?
Friends, probably.
Is it going to be hard to go in the ring and fight your friend?
Not at all.
Are you all going to be friends after?
Yeah, why not?
Either way it goes.
Both making money. Yeah.
But you guys are making each other bleed.
Hopefully I just make him bleed.
Oh, true.
Then there was the bet. After the weigh-in, Tank and Roach made some kind of wager. Some lip readers guessed it was $20,000. Others thought it could be as high as $250,000. Maybe Roach truly believed he had a shot, or maybe he just wanted to prove a point. Either way, it didn't age well. Roach carried that same confidence into every interview before the fight. Sitting back on a Zoom call with DAZN, he was calm and composed. I have no doubt in myself, my skills, my strength, my will, he said. We're going to put it all together. He promised a career-defining performance and even hinted that the fight might not play out the way people expected. Honestly, it's going to be a real spectacle.
Yeah, man, I mean, it's going to go. Tank going to be losing the first 3 rounds. Then he's going to download the data. Then he going to knock this dude out in round 7 or 8. Then he going to do the backflip. Then Jim Gray's going to get in the ring, or Caleb Plants will
The critics who doubted him? Roach didn't care. They'll just have to wait and see, he said. For real, I couldn't care less about their doubts. He spoke like a man on a mission, like a fighter who truly believed he was about to shock the world. But belief doesn't win fights. And when the bell rang, reality hit. We saw it play out exactly as expected. Roach tried, he really did. He had his moments, but they weren't enough. Tank did what he always does, took his time, found his range, and when the moment was right, he closed the show. After the fight, Roach wasn't the same.
It's gonna be a party
And
on
I'm
your
gonna
floor.
let y'all know something. His father was up here
It's
shaking
gonna- it's
on the
gonna
what's
be-
the name? He was shaking on the
Thank everybody that played a part in it. My team, Roberto Diaz, Gary Jonas.
on my kids. He was shaking on his hand. On my kids, he was
never.
shaking. How you gonna say his cap? And
gotta be.
you gonna say his cap? I'm watching him.
The fire he had before? It was gone. He was already talking about stepping away, maybe for good. That confidence he carried into the ring had disappeared. This was always going to be the biggest fight of his career, his one shot at greatness. But, like so many before him, he fell short. Now, the conversation isn't about Roach. It's about what's next for Tank. And it all starts with Shakur. Anyway, the real conversation now is about what's next for Tank, and it all starts with Shakur. What do you think? Will we finally get the fights we've all been waiting for? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more updates.